إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وعلى من اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, I'm your host Karim Abu Zaid, and I come live from Denver, Colorado, At-Thahabi, Colorado Muslims Community Center, CMCC, your organization, brothers and sisters in Islam. And I welcome all of you. I welcome all of you to our live broadcast, inshallah. And I would like to make a couple of announcements first before I present the surprise of the day for all of you, which been announced already. Sheikh Abu Usamah At-Thahabi. Colorado Muslims Community Center, brothers and sisters in Islam, is, like I said, your organization. But let me go first to the very beginning here, as I bring you on the broadcast, inshallah. Let me see if we have the ability to do that. Alhamdulillah, we do. So if we go here, Alhamdulillah, people are coming along, inshallah. So as soon as they come to the broadcast, inshallah, we'll do this bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So Jazakumullahu khairan for your support, continuous support of CMCC, Colorado Muslims Community Center. Without you, we would not be able to pay our teachers last month. May Allah reward all the brothers and the sisters who contributed to the GoFundMe account and other apps as well, inshallah. Brothers and sisters in Islam, we have daily broadcast during Ramadan. 5 p.m. always, that is Mountain Standard Time. And inshallah, when we come out of Ramadan, we may do 3 nights, and we may have to work on the time to accommodate, because we have a lot of people who watch us overseas, so we want to accommodate them, inshallah. Our main focus is the virtual right belief series, the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Know Your Messenger, virtual, and also we have the class on the higher aims, inshallah. Today we have, of course, this is what I just said a minute ago, but today we have our respected brothers, brother Sheikh Abu Usamah At-Thahabi, Hafidahullah. He will join us very shortly here, inshallah, to answer your questions, inshallah. Hang in there. Brothers and sisters in Islam, the Ramadan competition, this is the higher aims of 20 surahs of the Quran. So far we've done 3. Tomorrow and after tomorrow we'll reach 5. From Al-Fatiha until Taha. There will be prizes, 2 umrahs from the US for the participants from the US. But there will be 2 gift certificates, 250 each, and 2 more, 100 each, and that is available to everybody, even if you are overseas, even if you're Malaysia, and so forth, inshallah. If you're still interested to enroll in this competition, the Tafsir Ramadan 2020 Tafsir competition, please send an email to quiz@ourcmcc.org. This is where we will register you, inshallah. Make sure that you mention where you're from. If you are in the US, we need to know your state. If you are overseas, we need to know your country. That would include Canada as well, inshallah. Here is a list of our sponsors, brothers and sisters in Islam. The companies Fayruz Travel, and also Rendezvous, and Noor Hajj and Umrah, and Al Ansar and Al Najashi. Please, if you wish, if your business is legal, meaning that's halal, and you want to sponsor, we're going to add you to this list, inshallah. Just let us know, bi'idnillahi ta'ala. Here is so far the list of the participants from the USA. Just look at the screen, and this is as of yesterday. I know that I was told that we received already maybe 6 more applications for the competition. So this will be added before tomorrow, hopefully, inshallah. But this is from the USA. Just look at your names. This is from Europe. We have actually 9 participants from Europe right here. UK is top of the list. And we have as well participants from Canada and unknown. Please, if you have not mentioned, we have actually Brunei as well. Brothers and sisters in Islam, Jazakumullah khairan again, like I said, for supporting us. CMCC operational expenses, please. This is a month where we miss on a lot of donations. Help us out, whatever you can do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers and sisters in Islam, with this, inshallah, I will be calling in our respected Sheikh Abu Usamah Al-Thahabi, inshallah, to come in and bless us with his presence. So let me see here if we can call him in, inshallah. Sheikh Abu Usamah, Hafidhahullah, Bismillah, Tawakkalna Allah. I'm right now. Hang in there, inshallah. Please go ahead and post your question. I want to tell you, brothers and sisters in Islam, that I will post your comments, whether it is on YouTube chat or on the Facebook comments, provided that. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Hiyakum Allah, Sheikh.
Sheikh Abu
Karim.
Sheikh Abu Usamah. How are you, Sheikhi? How's it going?
Tamam. I'm well, alhamdulillah. How are you doing?
You're right. Everybody can see you live, loud and clear. And we're very happy to have you here, Sheikh. I miss you. I have to say that.
Afrahakum Allah da'iman. In reality, Sheikh, I remember the times that we had an opportunity to meet there in America and in Canada and America.
Yes.
I think it was about 6-7 times. And from that time to this day, to this very day, my love and my respect for you has done nothing except increased.
Exactly.
And I ask Allah Ta'ala to bless you and your family and to put barakah in your efforts and in your dawah. And there's another thing very important, Sheikh.
Sure.
Karim.
Yes.
Yani, if you just give me this opportunity, and that is,
it's all yours.
You know that there are a lot of people who are giving dawah Allah today. And people are on different darajat, different levels, and they have different abilities. Over the years since I met you, from the first time I met you and I knew that you were from Egypt and you had a connection with the Sheikh Abu Ishaq al-Huwaini,
yes,
Hafidhullah Ta'ala wa Shafahullah,
Ameen,
and other people like that. I had love for you at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And my love, it just increased because I saw you as a person who was calling the people in America, in North America, to al-Islam based upon the Kitab and the Sunnah and the understanding of the companions, Radwanullah alayhim. And that's my dhan bik. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put all of your efforts in your mawazeen of hasanat yawm al-qiyamah.
Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. As if, wallahi, you're saying the same exact things I would say about my beloved brother Sheikh Abu Usamah Al-Thahabi. Wallahi, I love you for the sake of Allah, Sheikh. I think the last time we met was last year in Mina, right? Subhanallah, our tents happen to be across from one another. But I'll never forget this time when I met you in Toronto. And maybe the viewers don't know this. I think Sheikh Abu Usamah somehow informed the people to bring his carry-on from his room. So his carry-on and my carry-on are almost identical. So I came down to check out because both of us, I think, are to be taken to the airports. He's heading back to London, and I'm heading back to Denver. And I'm sitting down and I'm putting my hand on my carry-on, and by all of a sudden I see Sheikh Abu Usamah trying to take away my carry-on. Of course, I didn't, I didn't expect you, wanting my carry-on, but you see how I thought? I thought the Sheikh wants to carry my bag. No way, I will not do that. No, I would carry his bag. And I think you're under the same impression too, that you think that I'm carrying your bag, and I'm thinking you're carrying my bag, and we're
Subhanallah.
fighting over the carry-on. I was like, what is going on?
Like, it was a situation, but it reminds me of something actually right now, Sheikh, and it's about like just the da'af of Bani Adam, that we have this thing that they call, as you know, in Arabic, at-tawahum. At-tawahum is when you look at something and you think it's a particular way, but it's not that way. And it just goes to show, as human beings, we make mistakes even when we don't even intend to make that mistake. And alhamdulillah, we have a religion and that was sent by our Lord, who is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, He is Al-Latif, He is Al-Halim, He is Al-Afu wa yuhibbul afwa. And He sent the religion that the Prophet said about it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Inni bu'ithtu bil hanafiyyati samha. I've been sent with the religion that makes things easy for people. So in the month of Ramadan, it's one of the major lessons of the month of Ramadan, that although we're on lockdown and things are not the same, Allah Ta'ala has given us a religion that makes things easy. For it's not yanbaghi lana. We shouldn't make it difficult on ourselves. A few minutes ago, I was calling you Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim. And I know your name is Karim, although you're Abdul Karim, but your name is Karim.
I am the slave. I'm the slave of Al Karim. Wallahi.
Samih.
La, wallah, la, wallah. I love it. I love it. I just want to tell you, the people are so excited to hear from you, Sheikh Abu Usamah, today. Including me, wallahi, yani, inshallah. So let's begin with this classical question, which how can we maximize the fruit of Ramadan in spite of the unique situation which we all experience worldwide as Muslims with the COVID-19 and being deprived from the congregation in general, Sheikh Abu Usamah?
Well, there are a lot of things that could be said, Sheikh. I first would say what Allah mentioned in the Quran describing some people, that we can't afford to be like those people. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ فَإِنْ أَصَابَهُ خَيْرٌ اطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ فِتْنَةٌ انقلب عَلَى وَجْهِهِ. There are those people who worship Allah, and they worship Allah on the edge, on the harf, on the edge. If good things happen to them, they are happy. They're happy. Everything is okay. But if some fitna comes to them, they turn back on their heels. So they get the khusran of the dunya and the akhirah. So that means that there are those people who, when everything is perfect, then they don't mind worshiping Allah. But when there are some trials and tribulations that come their way, then they start to panic and they start to not do the right thing. And we see it all the time. May Allah help us. A sister gets married, for an example, and she comes into the religion. She's a revert. She gets married. She comes to the religion. She marries a brother. And then when the marriage goes south and things turn sour, she apostates on the religion and from the religion because she didn't accept Islam for Allah. So we can't be like that. Allah asked the Prophet's companions, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wa radiyallahu anhum ajma'een, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ أَفَإِنْ مَاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ انقَلَبْتُمْ عَلَى أَعْقَابِكُمْ. So that's a question that was put to them, and Allah made it clear that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a messenger, like the messengers who came before him. If he were to die or if he were to be killed, would you companions turn back on your heels and leave the religion? But they didn't do that. Alhamdulillah, as Allah mentioned about them in the Quran, وَمَا بَدُّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. They didn't
No,
change.
no.
So I say that to say now, there's no doubt that this is not the Ramadan that we've been used to. I accepted Islam in 1986. And Ramadan is the same way every year. We break our fast in the masjid. We pray Salatul Taraweeh. We go to Mecca for Umrah. We're feeding people. We're doing all of these things. And now Allah decreed that Corona hits the scene. And Corona is a test from many angles. And one of the angles is, how are we going to worship Allah? And this is why it's imperative that as Muslims, we have to get knowledge. That doesn't mean we have to memorize all of the Quran. It doesn't mean that we have to give the khutbah on Friday. But we have to know enough about the religion that when things come our way, we know what to do. And that's why I would advise myself and you and all of the people who are listening to really try your best to learn. That book, 40 Hadith by Imam An-Nawawi, if a Muslim gets to understand those hadith in that book, he will take away some principles that will help him throughout his life. Although he may not know all of the Quran, but those hadith will help us to navigate in this issue like Corona and other than that. So I would say in answering that question, the opportunities that are there for us are still many as it relates to fasting in a way where there's a lot of benefit. As a matter of fact, we may be in a position now with this Corona to get more reward than we used to get when we didn't have Corona. Because me personally, in the month of Ramadan, when I'm by myself and I'm in the house, I feel very close to Allah. When I'm by myself, I'm in the house. You wake up and you wake up feeling close to Allah. But as soon as you go out and you start mixing with people at the job, you start mixing with people in the street, that's when a shaitan, he makes your
test.
awareness.
Yeah.
Yes.
The real test.
And you start swearing, you start cursing, you start wasting time, you start doing things that you don't do when you're by yourself. So this can actually be a rahmah. We just have to make this istighlal, take advantage of the opportunity. So this is the month of the Quran. It's the month of the Quran. So let us, inshallah, engage ourselves with the book of Allah. Allah Ta'ala mentioned that the Prophet will come Yawm al-Qiyamah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as he mentioned, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. My people have abandoned this Quran. And the abandonment of the Quran is many things. So this is the month we connect ourselves with the Quran, in reading the Quran, and listening to the Quran, and learning the Quran. Here in Birmingham, the Masjid Green Lane, they put a program on where they're doing the tafsir of the Quran from 3 o'clock Greenwich time to 6 o'clock Greenwich time. And they do the juz of the day that we're in. Yes, it's 3 hours, it's long. They give you a break here and there. But what else are we doing? We're sitting here on lockdown.
Right.
So, الشاهد من الكلام يا شيخ أكرمكم الله, I say let's make this istighlal, let's take advantage of the opportunity by first and foremost re-engaging ourselves in the Quran and continue to cooperate with one another and helping the people like now. No. We broke our fast a few minutes ago, and I'm just telling you this from the bab of Ma'rifah, just so that you can know. We broke our fast at 8:35, just a few minutes ago. I prayed with my family, and I ate some watermelon, some dates, and I told them, I'm not going to eat now. I'm going to talk on this thing. So this is what we have to do. It's a naw' of a ta'awun that we just have to get in where we can fit in.
Make an adjustment as necessary for the sake of Allah.
And that's our religion, Sheikh.
Yes.
A religion of adjustments.
Yes.
By the way, how do you say adjustments in Arabic?
إحداث تغيير يعني أو يعني تغيير لعلها يعني change. Subhanallah is a term that I learned in English. Subhanallah, adjustment. يعني إعادة تنظيم. تنظيم, yeah. Reorganizing, يعني, in English. Yeah.
And that's another thing about you and your dawah, Sheikh Karim, and that is the English that you have and the Arabic that you have, mashallah.
Uh,
If I could speak Arabic the way you speak
uh,
English,
uh,
oh,
جزاك الله خير.
I've hassid for you in that bad.
جزاك الله
I don't
خير.
want Allah to take it away from you. I just wish that I had
May Allah
that
reward you.
level of itqan that you have in English.
Wallahi,
And the reason I mention this, Sheikh, is because it's really important. I believe that you understand the nuances of the people who speak English and the language. And I think that has helped your dawah to be effective. We ask
alhamdulillah.
Allah a ziyada for you, inshallah.
Wallahi, Sheikh, I learn from you. You will be surprised that sometimes I get some of your videos just to listen to what you have to say about a subject. Yeah,
Sallallahu ya Sheikh.
you're humbling me, wallahi, Sheikh. Sheikh
It's true, Sheikh.
yeah,
Wallahi,
would be, yeah,
you know that the scholars of the past, the people of the past, they used to say things that benefited me when I studied to try to, I don't want to be of those people, as you know very well. When we get down with Allah, unfortunately, hasad is a big problem. Hasad, envy, jealousy, and haqd is a problem.
yeah, that's an issue.
And sometimes it exists between shuyukh and du'at, and it's more than what you find with the tujar, with the people who work.
Yes.
So one sheikh is jealous of another sheikh, how many people go to his daras and all of this stuff. But the people of the past, they used to say a person will not be an imam. You will never be an imam until you take knowledge from a person who is above you, similar to you, and below you.
Yes.
I definitely see you as being above me. Wa Rabbil Kaaba.
Sheikh Abu Usamah, please, والله stop يا شيخ. Sheikh, some of my viewers here, maybe in the US, especially in the mountain area. We're in the Rocky Mountain, right in the middle of America. So you went to Medina, right? You actually did the program with the Islamic University in Medina, right?
Yes, I did.
And can you tell me that incident which you told me at one time when you went to the Moulid celebration, and by all of a sudden the person said the messenger of Allah. If you know that.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, it's something that I would never forget. Actually,
I always tell that story in my lectures. And I say Abu Usamah Al-Thahabi said that. So I mentioned the sanad, yani.
I was very close to the students who were from a country that shares with your people the Nile River.
Okay.
I was very close to those people
in the south.
Yes. And they invited me to come to a dinner one day, and I went. And the house was full of with a lot of people, and I didn't know what was going on. I just thought it was a dinner. And then the sheikh came, and then they started making these dhikr, the dhikr, who, and all of this stuff. And they were saying some things. I didn't know what was going on. I was kind of like trying to figure out what's going on and what do I do, because I realized at that point who they were and what was happening.
This is your first time in Medina, right? That here you are coming to learn about Islam.
I didn't know much. I didn't know much about the religion. I was new. I was new to the religion, really. And then they all stood up, and I looked around, and one of them said to me very aggressively, he told me to stand up, get up. I said, why? Why should I get up? He said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has come in just now, so stand up, get up. And right then, I know as you see this kufi on my head, it almost popped off of my head, that they would say that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam had came into the room. But I knew that this was from the khurafat that some of our brothers had. But believe it or not, Sheikh Karim, believe it or not, we have some people here in the UK who say that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was or is Hazir Nazir, they say. Hazir Nazir. That the Prophet is omnipresent. He's with you at Mountain Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time, Greenwich Standard Time. He's in New York, Brooklyn, New York. He's in Peking, Wuhan, China. He's in Khartoum, all at the same time. And this is not the ghulu. This is ghulu that is haram in our deen.
So let's get to the viewers here, Sheikh Abu Usamah. Jazakallah khairan for this cheerful moments. With the COVID-19, and I asked this question over and over again. A lot of, and also with the internet, the social media, and people just coming out and saying what they think and all of that. All these fatwas just came out, and one of them is really the virtual Jumu'ah. Or right now, actually, some people are talking of virtual taraweeh. That the Imam is leading taraweeh inside the masjid, and it's being streamed live, and the people in their localities at home, they can follow him. What is your I asked all my guests this question, and because the viewers are still want to hear more voices, whether for or against that, or at least in the middle, in between the two opinions. Jazakallah khairan.
Assalamu alaikum. For me, Sheikh, I take the position and the opinion that this is an issue that is not permissible, and it should be avoided. It should be avoided because it is not necessary for us to pray behind the Imam who is somewhere else. It's not wajib. The salat of the taraweeh is not wajib.
Right.
It's not wajib. It's not wajib for us to complete all of the Quran doing the recitation during the month of Ramadan. If someone has hirs and he's really trying to complete the Quran, then let him read the Quran himself from the Mus'haf. Let him play it in the musajjal, in the record him. Let him hear the CD. So Allah لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah didn't make that wajib upon us. So there's no darura for us to go that far and to make this takalluf. The takalluf is doing what is not necessary. No, we don't need to do that. The other thing is, and I think it's pretty simple, the statement of Allah in the Quran, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُنَادُونَكَ مِنْ وَرَاءِ الْحُجُرَاتِ أَكْثَرُهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Those people, Ya Muhammad, that call out to you from behind the hujurat, most of them, they don't have any aql. They don't have any intellect. This ayat is in Surah Al-Hujurat. And the hujurat are the inner apartments that some of the Prophet's wives used to live in, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wa radiyallahu anhunna. From them, Aisha. They had small rooms connected to the masjid. So the masjid was easily accessible. Rasulullah would just come out of his house and he's inside of the masjid, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So it's called Surah Al-Hujurat. Not only was the Prophet's house, some of his homes connected to the mosque, but some of the other companions, they had their homes connected to the mosque.
Right.
And from them, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. So when the Prophet was going to die, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, close all of the doors to the masjid except the door of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. A sign and the ishara that he's the best of the ummah after the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he should be the Khalifa. The point here is, it's established that there were companions who lived connected to the masjid. So while the Prophet was praying, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Salatul Fajr, Salatul Maghrib, Salatul Isha, any prayer, they could have stayed in their homes and prayed behind him inside of their homes, especially his women. But they used to come to the masjid to connect themselves to the sufuf,
right,
the saf, because there's a awamir ordering us. Connect yourselves to the saf. Man wasala saf, wasalahu Allah, wa man qata'ahu saf, qata'ahu Allah.
No.
Whoever connects the line, Allah will connect you. Whoever disconnects it, Allah will disconnect your affairs. They used to come to the mosque, to the mosque. So one of the things that we understand and we believe in our Islam is, if the companions, if something was present during their time and they had the ability to do that thing and they didn't do it, then we shouldn't do it. Because they were the ahras an-nas ala al-khayr. They wanted to do good more than anyone else. So this was a situation that they could have just stayed in the privacy of their own homes. They would have been able to pray Salatul Jama'ah behind the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they would have been able to do the tahqiq of another hadith. أفضل الصلاة صلاة المرء في بيته إلا المكتوبة. The best salat for a person is the prayer that he does in his house, except the wajib prayer. So they would have been in the privacy of their homes, far away from the eyes of the people. No riyah. And they would have also made the jama' of praying behind the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But they didn't do that.
Allahu Akbar.
So I say, what we should do, inshallah, you want to complete the Quran, because in that is khair. I believe that the woman doesn't have to go to the mosque. But in Ramadan, we should encourage our wives to go to the mosque so that they can hear the Quran and complete it in Qiyam and so forth and so on. But under these circumstances, we say, everybody stay in your home and bring your family together and pray with your family by yourself. And so what I did is, so far in the first third of Ramadan, I just let my sons lead the salah.
MashaAllah. How old is?
So they feel a responsibility.
How old is
And
each?
as we go on more, I'll do more. But let your sons lead the prayer, whatever's easy for them, as opposed to feeling like we're not doing our best if we don't pray behind an imam.
How old is your son, Sheikh Abu Usamah?
I'm not good with the a'mar, ya Sheikh, but
okay. around
10. Yeah. The youngest one is
under puberty may lead the salah, because some people assume not.
Yes. There's a companion,
Amr ibn Salama. Yes.
Yeah, who was only 6 years old.
Yes.
And he was the ahfa, the Numo Quran.
Right.
And he used to lead the companions who were rijal. He used to lead them in the prayer.
No. طيب, a related question before we move to other area here. Sheikh Abu Usamah, if the COVID-19 situation is extended until the most precious nights of the month, which is the last 10 nights of the month, where the big prize is hidden, Laylatul Qadr, and we know the status of this night. Now, a lot of the Muslims are used to going to the masajid to perform i'tikaf, to observe this night. Now we cannot go to the masajid. The question comes, can we perform i'tikaf at home?
For me, I don't know any dalil from the kitab or from the sunnah where a person is allowed to make i'tikaf. As a matter of fact, we have statements from the companions and other than them that says that an i'tikaf is in the masjid. Even in Jahiliyyah, Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, he said, Ya Rasulullah, I made an oath in Jahiliyyah. I wasn't even a Muslim in Jahiliyyah to make i'tikaf. Should I fulfill the oath in the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca?
No.
And the Nabi said, yes, fulfill your oath. So the i'tikaf in the masjid, the i'tikaf of al-Islam, of the sunnah, is in the masjid. So if a person doesn't have the ability to make i'tikaf in the masjid for whatever reason, he does it every year, and this year he can't. He really was planning on doing it this year, but Corona prevented him from doing it. Allah Ta'ala blesses people and rewards people based upon the niyyah, and you didn't even do it.
Right.
So you know the hadith that Allah Azza wa Jal, if the slave becomes sick or if he travels, Allah writes the ajr for him what he does when he is muqim and when he has good health.
And the Prophet ﷺ telling his companions in the way back from Tabuk, there are people in Medina who got exactly the same reward. And
same reward.
Yeah.
And they didn't even travel with you.
Yes.
You went here, you went there, but they're back there based upon their niyyah. They didn't have the ability, but they get the reward. And that is one of the beautiful things about our religion that we need to understand. The Prophet mentioned in an authentic hadith, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Allah loves it. Our Lord, He loves. He loves in a way that befits His majesty. Allah loves it.
No.
When people take advantage of the rukhsa. If Allah gave you a concession to make it easy on yourself, when you travel, shorten your prayer. When you travel, you don't have to fast. Iktikaf, we can't do it. Allah loves it when you take advantage of the concession that He gave you.
Mhm.
So just as He hates when you do something haram, He loves it when you take advantage of this. Because the slave knows that his Lord is Ghafur Rahim and He is Al-Afu and so forth and so on. And I think we should relax. Let me say this, Sheikh Karim, because it's
Sure,
really important.
sure.
The very first khutbah that I give in the month of Ramadan every single year is a khutbah in which the topic is concerning don't make Ramadan difficult upon you. And that is because for the last 3 years, 4 years, I've been the Imam of the biggest mosque in Liverpool. Liverpool is a famous city here in the UK. It used to be an international city on par with Paris and New York. It was made well known by the slave trade that actually helped to build the UK. Anyway, it's an important city, beautiful city. I'm the Imam of the big mosque there. For the last 4 years, every year, we get older people who are dying. They're dying. They don't have to fast. They're from those people in the Quran who la yatiqunahu, they can't fast. But some of them feel as long as I can get through the day, I'm going to fast. And we say, no, Allah doesn't want that from us. He doesn't want to make things difficult for us. So when we find these things happening, as they say it's now religion and usul fiqh, when things start getting tough, the religion makes things easy for you.
No.
We just have to make things easy for ourselves by feeling comfortable with what is acceptable and not acceptable religiously.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. So you heard it from Sheikh Abu Usamah At-Thahabi that you don't have to burden yourself. طيب, one last question and then I'm done with that COVID related questions. Salatul Eid. What if there is no congregation out there? We cannot. Again, we're talking about a voluntary nafila. But what is your take? Can the husband lead his wife and kids at home without khutbah, or is it permissible, or just don't do it?
I'm of the opinion that it shouldn't be done at all. The Salat of al-Eid is fard, no doubt about it. The Prophet ordered, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the women to come to the Salat, even those who are on their periods. He told them to avoid the musalla, akramakumullah ya sheikh.
No.
So it's wajib, and it's from the awjab al-wajibat, especially in these countries where we are the minority, because in Birmingham, we get up to 80,000 people
I see.
at that Eid.
I seen that.
Yes.
I see.
And
But I walked out of Jumu'ah one time. I was in that masjid next to the Green Lane, which is Sheikh Adam, I think that's the Imam there. Subhanallah, you would recognize the non-Muslims more
Yes.
than you recognize Muslims because of the masses.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm muftakhr. This is one of the
That's
visas
beautiful.
of Islam in the UK,
That's beautiful.
especially in Birmingham.
Yes, yes.
And that masjid, Green Lane Masjid, mashallah. So
Alhamdulillah.
it's our way of letting the non-Muslims here know we are here and we're here to stay. We're not apologetic and we're not second-class citizens. And it is that what Allah when they say
we're not danger to the
we're not a danger.
We're not.
No,
Yes.
we are a very important integral part of the fabric of this society. So shahid, and the point here is, I really bet the Salat of al-Eid is from the awjab al-wabat upon us. It's from the sha'air of al-Islam. That we have to make the ibraz. We have to show people. ذَلِكُ مِعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ. You know? فَإِنَّهَا مِن تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ.
No.
It's a proof that you have some taqwa. So I won't come now and say, oh, let's not do it. Let's not do it. Unless there was a legitimate reason to say that. And that legitimate reason to say we shouldn't do it, religiously we shouldn't do it, is if this challenge and this problem with corona is still on the table, then we have to continue to distance ourselves socially and practice the statements of Allah Ta'ala, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ إِنَّ
Right.
اللَّهَ كَانَ بِكُمْ رَحِيمًا.
Naam.
Don't kill yourselves. Allah has rahmah upon you people.
Alhamdulillah.
وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ.
Naam.
Don't destroy yourselves with your own hands. So inside of the homes, on the day of the Eid, we don't pray Salat of al-Eid in the Jama'ah. If anything, we encourage the kids, encourage ourselves to pray the Salat of al-Duha, to pray Salat al-Duha, pray some extra prayers, and that's it. We don't give a khutbah on the day of the Eid, nor do we do the khutbah on Friday. All of these things have been lifted off of us because of the condition that we are dealing with. As for buying and purchasing for our children clothes, toys, gifts, nice food, all of those things from our adat and taqaleed al halawa, for bihi wa ni'mah.
Naam.
Let's have a party, no problem.
Show joy.
Party.
Yes. Okay, we're done with the COVID related questions. Sheikh, our local brother here, his name is Shihan. Shihan. He's Afghani brother. I love him, and he's a member of our community. He actually called yesterday on my live show and asked me this question, and I told him I will spare it for Sheikh Abu Usamah today. Basically, he's being invited to a wedding where the bride is supposedly a Muslima, but obviously not from a practicing background, who is being given in marriage to a non-Muslim. We don't call that marriage, of course. That's for us is adultery because it's not valid. But the question here is, they are relatives to this family. Should they attend that wedding or not?
The bride is going to be married off to a man who is not a Muslim.
Right. And they are relatives. Should they take part in this ceremony? They are relatives, close relatives to the bride's family.
Well, this is something that is not permissible, nisa kabira from the kaba'ir, and a responsible father should never help his daughter or his family members to do something like that, because you're helping to destroy the Islam in your own children and their children and their children. Allah mentioned in the Quran, لَن يَجْعَلَ اللَّهَ لِلْكَافِرِينَ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ سَبِيلًا. Allah hasn't given the non-Muslims a way over the believers. So if a man is going to marry his daughter, someone's going to marry a Muslim girl to a non-Muslim man, you're giving the man a way over the believers. This is something that is not permissible. As it relates to attending that, you can't attend that thing. It's not even permissible to attend it, because that's from the ayat of Allah that there's istihza.
No.
It's istihza. This is something that, as a new revert, the Arab who's a Bedouin in the desert, the Afghani that comes from Kunar, he comes from the mountains of Peshawar, from Kandahar. He doesn't know much about his religion, especially the Afghani. He knows his ghira. He knows this is something that's not permissible. He doesn't have to be an alim. So if that was to be done, we cannot attend it. Allah has made it prohibited. And he told us when we see people who do things like that, فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ.
إنكم إذا مثلهم.
And if you see these things happen, then don't sit in their presence until they stop doing that thing, until they change their speech, change their action. And if you don't do that, if you sit with them, then you are like them.
Right.
And this is really important, Sheikh. Wallahi, it's important, because we have a religious responsibility to help each other and to assist each other. Everyone knows Surah Al-Asr. Everyone is in a state of loss. Those people believe they do righteous deeds and they cooperate on the haqq and sabr.
No.
This is not cooperating on the haq or on sabr. This is something that is a terrible issue. Inside Bukhari and Muslim, there was a situation, Sheikh, where Rasulullah told us about an army, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's going to go to destroy the Kaaba. That's the goal and the objective. They're going to go to destroy the Kaaba. And on their way, when they arrive at a place called Bayda,
No.
Bayda is between Mecca and Medina. When the army arrives there, they're going to stop. And when they stop, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the people of the area will come and start trading with them, sell them camel's milk, sell them tents, whatever the army needs. And these are just the locals. They have nothing to do with going to Mecca. They have nothing to do with it. They're just going to make money.
Yeah.
And then Allah Ta'ala is going to yukhsafu bi awwalihim wa akhirihim. Allah will cause the earth to open up and swallow the whole army, the first army and the last of the army. Yeah. Our mother Aisha, Allah be pleased with her, said,
Ameen.
Ya Rasulullah, ayukhsafu bi awwalihim wa akhirihim wa fihim aswaqum man laysa minhum. Is the army going to be destroyed? Also, those people who are around who had nothing to do with it, they were not going to Mecca to do anything. They were just trying to make a living. Rasulullah said, yes, the army will be destroyed, and all of those people from the locals who came to them will be destroyed, and then everyone will be raised up on his niyah.
No.
The great scholar Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani said about this hadith, from the benefits of this hadith is that it shows if a person allows himself to be in a place where disobedience is being done, ma'asiyah, or with people where ma'asiyah is being done, especially the kaba'ir.
No.
When the punishment comes down, the punishment is going to get everybody. So this is something we should not attend. And not only that, but we should talk to those people in a nice way.
No.
That is something that shouldn't even happen.
No. But I think just to... the brother, I think when he presented this question, Sheikh Abu Usamah, he is trying to tell me that I want to still continue having a channel of communication with this family. Hopefully, later on, I may be a reason for them to come back, to retreat. But I agree with you 100%. That's what I told him. I shouldn't do it at the expense of a major sin. That's obvious. Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair.
There's another situation that I would like to bring to your attention as well. Two things, actually. The first one is I can definitely relate to this because as a revert, I get relatives who die all the time and relatives who are close to me. And if I don't go to the funeral, if I'm in America, it would be that I didn't attend.
No.
So they will look at me and say, what's up with Abu Usamah? Is he with ISIS? Is this their religion? I say, no, I'm not ISIS. So what I do is I feel where the brother's coming from. I don't want to make trouble unnecessarily. So I'll go to the funeral, but I'll go only under the condition that they allow me to talk. And then I'll start giving them dawah Allah about why we were created. This person has died. You're all going to die. And start opening up their eyes, inshallah, to think about what it's all about. But I'm just not going to go and sit with them as if everything is cookie crunch and I'm just hanging out with my kuffar relatives so that they're not upset with me. Hey,
right.
People are going to be upset with me. The other issue, Sheikh, and this is serious as well, in Sahih Bukhari, the tremendous companion Abdullah ibn Umar, and everybody know who he is. He invited a companion by the name of his kunya he was Abu Ayyub al-Ansari.
No.
May Allah be pleased with both of them.
Ameen.
Abdullah bin Umar invited him to a dawah, and we know that the haqqul Muslim ala Muslim sit.
No.
If a Muslim, he has 6 rights. One of them, if he invites you to come to the walima, the aqiqah, to the nikah, it's wajib. You should come if you can come. So Abu Ayyub al-Ansari came. When Abdullah ibn Umar opened up the door to let him in, he saw, look at what he saw. He didn't see music. He didn't see women who didn't have hijab. He didn't see ikhtilat, mixing. He didn't see it. When the door opened, Abu Ayyub saw on the wall, there was curtains.
Allahu Akbar.
And they saw that as being like isbal, it's israf, it's a waste of money. You put curtains over the windows, but not over the walls. It's not necessary. So Abu Ayyub said, well, what is this? You put this on the wall? He said, my women overcame me. My women, they overpowered me. Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, yes, that's what Abdullah bin Umar said. My women overpowered me. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Abu Ayyub al-Ansari said, if I was afraid that this would happen to anyone, it wouldn't be you. I think someone else would say that. And then he turned and he didn't go. He went away and he didn't go in.
No.
Imam al-Bukhari put in that hadith, the chapter of nikah, the bab of nikah, is in the chapter, if a person is invited and he says munkar, should he go back? So is Imam al-Bukhari's understanding, yes, he should go back.
Beautiful.
So this is not something we should do.
Beautiful. Yeah, the fiqh of al-Bukhari and his tarajim in the way that he titles the hadith, yes. I'm going to move you to another serious issue, and you're coming in for this. Abdi Abdul, I don't know if you can see the question or not, but I will read it for you. Jazakumullah khairan for the good work we're doing, alhamdulillah. My question is, what about the religious perspective on females taking on the chairs of da'wah in public with, the phenomenon we have now, the sisters who come out and speak, whether live sessions online or even events with sitting side by side by male speakers. A lot of the brothers wondering what is your position on this. They know my position, but your position.
Well, for me, Sheikh, Salamakumullah min kulli su'in makruh.
Jazakallah khairan.
That Allah has mentioned in the Quran clearly to the women, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَا تَبَرَّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى.
Allahu Akbar. Nah.
The women should stay in their homes, and they should not come out and make the display like the times of al-Jahiliyyah. So women should stay in their homes. I don't bite my tongue for anyone as it relates to that, and I don't speak out of the side of my neck. That is the asl in al-Islam. But if the lady comes out, she should come out with the proper hijab, no perfume, and so forth and so on. If she has to come out. Because some of the wives of the Prophet, the women, they would come out and they did things and they mix in society. But the first issue is they should stay in the home. So if they should stay in the home, how and why would they get in front of the people giving lectures and so forth and so on? The other thing is, Ali ibn Abi Talib, he was raised in the house of An-Nabuwa.
Yeah.
Fatima, the daughter of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, radiyallahu anha, she was raised in the house of An-Nabuwa. Abu Bakr asked Rasulullah, can he marry Fatima? He said, no, you're too older than her. You're older. Umar asked, he said, no, you're older. He married her to Ali, both of them in the house of Nabuwa, their cousins and so forth and so on. Ali asked Fatima, Ya Fatima, what is the most beloved thing to the Muslim woman? What's the most beloved thing? She said, the most beloved thing for a Muslim woman is for her not to see men who are haram for her, and for them not to see, for her not to see them, and for them not to see her. That tarbiyah, that answer came from the tarbiyah from the Nabi of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's where that comes from. So as it relates to women getting knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim. As it relates to women giving dawah, women can give dawah. بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً. Women can give dawah. النِّسَاء شَقَائِقُ الرِّجَالِ. Men and women do the same thing. But we do things differently. So if the sister's going to give dawah amongst sisters, no problem. فَبِهِ وَنِعْمَةً. As for coming out and making the buros, then this is a big mushkila. Mm-hmm. Allah told the Prophet's companion sallallahu alaihi wasallam to ask his wives if they wanted any mata' fas'aluhunna min wara'i hijab. Ask those women from behind the hijab, not in front of them. Now that's the wives of the Prophet, I understand, but it has to do with that whole thing about fitna. and fitan. So this is something that I say is a munkar and something that is a problem, a major problem. And as a community, we have to get a grip on this thing.
Yeah, let me take on the side of, the other side of the aisle here, or they say, well, women sisters need to learn the ahkam related to sisters. And we know a lot of the husbands, Sheikh Abu Usamah, unfortunately, I mean, we live at a time when the husband doesn't help his wife to at least learn the ahkam which relate to the sisters, especially once it comes to tahara and all of this, and that is the best way. So they say that there is a need for that, and that's how they justify it.
Well, I'm not living in a vacuum or on Mars and I don't know the reality. No, I know the reality of what our community, usually the nashat, the activity of the community is coming from the women's side. Whenever we need volunteers or we need something, it's the women who are in the first suf, so to speak. So in saying what I'm saying, I'm giving you what I perceive as being what's correct. But that doesn't mean that we're going to turn a blind eye to the reality that if women stay home, then they won't get educated. No, I'm not saying that. The hukum is that the woman should be in the house. But if she comes out, she has to come out a certain way. She has to be a certain way. So I'm not against a woman learning her religion. But where is it that the woman has to learn her religion and give dawah in the way that we see what's happening today, where the lady stands up in front of the people and starts giving dawah to the people in that type of a way? Where is that?
No.
Where is that? No, we find that during the time of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that this issue, the idea, the concept, it was dealt with, it was tackled in many ways. In the masjid, there was a door that was called Bab al-Nisa in al-Medina. The women went in a special door and the men went in another door to keep people apart in the masjid. The best row is the first row for the men. The worst row is the last row for the men. The best row for the women is the last row. The worst row for the women is the first row. So the last row of the men and the first row of the women, they're the two worst rows in the masjid because of the close proximity. Prophet Muhammad said, "Ma taraktu ala ummati fitnatan adarr ala rijal min an-nisa." There are just too many issues. And then there's another thing. Our Nabi and our Rasul was a man, dhu ghuyur.
No.
He had jealousy, like the jealousy of the Afghanis when they have fiqh. That jealousy. Some of the Arabs, men have that. One time a man came to the Prophet's house, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He knocked on the door. No one answered. The man looked in the hole to see if someone was there. Rasulullah saw him looking with his eye. He started going to the door with like a crochet thing, a needle. And when the man saw the way he was running, the man backed up. He opened the door. He said, if you would have kept your eye there, I'd have poked your eye out. And that is the person who Allah said, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. He's a gentleman.
إنما جعل الاستئذان من أجل النظر.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I say things like this, we don't prevent women from giving dawah and we don't prevent them from learning. This is haram. We encourage all of that. But we do it in the way, as Allah said, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Let's do it the way the religion told us to do it. That's all.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Abu Sama. I know you haven't had your dinner yet, but inshallah, can we keep you for another 15 minutes?
أنا معك يا شيخ ومنك.
May Allah reward you, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Sheikh Osama, by the way, broke his fast and then he joined us right away. He prayed Maghrib, of course, and he joined us, so he has to have his dinner. You're originally from Philadelphia, right? I mean, some people may assume that you're a Brit, right? You're British. You're not a
Kalla. I'm from New Jersey.
New Jersey. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and but you're located now in Canada, and I'm sorry, in England. That's your base.
Yes. I'm like a fish out of the water. I'm trying to make my way back to America, inshallah, so that I can give dawah to my people as those
Alhamdulillah.
Prophets and messengers said in the Quran, Ya qawmi ibudullah. Oh, my people worship Allah. I really want to go back to America so that I can focus on giving dawah, especially to my people, meaning the African American community, my people.
Naam.
Those people were connected to the American Muslim mission that is from Imam Warathuddin Muhammad, Ghafarallahu lana wa lahu wa rahmatullah alayhi,
Naam.
and also the non-Muslims from amongst them. So make dua for me, ya Sheikh Karim.
May Allah give you strength.
Allah makes it possible.
May Allah keep you steadfast, Sheikh, and give you strength, يا رب العالمين. وأن يختم لنا بخير يا رب يا رب.
آمين آمين.
والله شيخ يعني ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا. يعني
آمين.
والله this is the dua that يعني subhanallah that I ask everybody to make for us, that because we see a lot of colorful dua these days, like one day this way, one day this day, and you know. And I remember the statement of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud when, I don't know if it is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud or I don't recall, من كان مستنا فليستن بمن قد مات فإن الحي لا تؤمن عليه الفتنة. If you want to follow the footsteps of somebody, then follow those who passed away, because the living still insecure or not immune from going astray, and these are the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. طيب.
Sheikh, let me say something very quickly concerning what you just said.
Sure.
Maybe I would not have thought about that athar of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud had you not mentioned it, but now that you said it just now, it just reminds me, because it touches my heart, and it just goes to show, as long as you are alive,
right,
you can be a Muslim. As long as you are living, you can have a fitna.
No.
You can become a kafir. You can be a person on the sunnah. You can become tomorrow a person who's on innovation.
No.
You could be a person who's shakir, and just like that, you become kafir. You're not shakir, because their hearts are between the two fingers of Ar-Rahman.
No.
But the point what I wanted to make was, by you saying that, you reminded me of the importance of being around people who are going to benefit you. You telling me that athar, wallahi, it makes me appreciative, because I accepted Islam in 1986 in Ramadan.
Allahu Akbar.
But that athar makes me appreciative that I am a Muslim. And it was the fact that you mentioned it to me that affected me. So I tell our brothers and sisters out there, make sure you surround yourselves with people who are going to remind you of Allah. A wife, a husband, children, friends, families, and people will remind you to forget Allah, then avoid those individuals.
Ameen. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Naam. So the two more questions, and we're going to let you go, inshallah. Seeking knowledge at this time and age. The traditional way is to travel. And this is actually the sunnah of our righteous predecessors, that you should travel to seek the knowledge. But now in these countries, actually, they have compromised. If you look at the curriculum of the Islamic University now, compared your time is totally different. And we know why, and all of that. Also, as soon as they go to these Muslim, so-called Muslim countries, and they say, they go through a lot of hardship with the local authorities. What are you doing here? And even the mashayikh are no longer available. What nasiha, Sheikh Abu Usamah, can you give to brothers who want to seek knowledge? They want to become dua, students of knowledge, like myself and yourself. What nasiha can you give to them, Sheikh, at this time that deals with the condition, with the time we're living in?
There was an incident when the Nabi of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed the Hajj, and he was coming back from Hajj with his companions. Before going to Hajj, he told the people, "Khudu anni manasikakum." Learn the rules and regulations of Hajj from me. So when he went out for Hajj, over 100,000 people went with him. They left Medina, and on the way, people met up with them on the way. Over 100,000 people, and they were looking at him the same way they looked at him, with precision, to learn his salat and these things. So when he was coming back, one of the 10 people promised Jannah was Az-Zubair ibn Awam. One of the 10 people promised Jannah.
Radiallahu anhu.
Radiallahu anhu. His wife, Asma, the daughter of Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr, Asma was married to,
Zubayr. Yes, Zubayr.
Zubayr.
Yes.
On the way back, Asma was pregnant, and she wanted to deliver the baby before they got to Medina. She wanted to deliver the baby. So
Abdullah ibn Zubayr.
Abdullah ibn Zubayr, tremendous personality in Islam.
No.
The father, who's one of the 10 people promised Jannah, he was going to leave his khadim, some people who were under his supervision, take care of my wife. She's going to have a baby. I'm going to keep going to Medina with the Nabi so I can learn Hajj. I don't want to miss anything. The Nabi told him, no, you stay with your wife. You stay with your wife. You're her husband. You stay with your wife. She's going to need you. So the Nabi didn't allow him to further his knowledge, get him knowledge, because his circumstances prevented him from doing that. So I say that to say, going to study overseas is a really important thing. It's valuable. It's traveling for knowledge is important. But everyone can't do it. Some people can do it and some people can't do it. Some people do it halfway. Some people do it 3/3 of the way, and so forth and so on. You have to get in where you fit in. So I heard brothers who wanted to go study in places where there was no stability politically. There's no stability. Like before Iraq got messed up, before Syria got messed up, it was on the brink of really getting bad. You can't put yourself in harm's way. Or to go to a place where the standard of living is very difficult. You go to these places where there are diseases where if you get them, it's going to be hard. No, Allah doesn't want you to put yourself in those